Mr. Matt Potter,
Yes, sir.
thanks for being here. Excited to have you meet OSR Academy, our second cohort. Have a whole bunch of young talent. This is their first of 4 terms. We're bringing in you for a very specific reason. Do you know what that is?
I'm still guessing.
You no. He's not very humble. He's being humble now. You are one of the best salespeople I know of. In an adjacent industry, you combine humor, understanding of human psychology, obviously a strong understanding of the product you're selling, but I also think people want to buy from you, right?
And I hope so.
No, you know they do. You just told me you closed like a $200 million deal. Let's just give a little bit of what we're going to talk about during our session that's going to be live with you. As you think back on your career, by the way, Matt and I, several years ago, recorded a podcast breaking down the key sales scenes in the movie Tommy Boy. Do I listen to it at least twice a year? Yes, I do. Why? Because Matt makes me laugh and I love Tommy Boy. So you should absolutely listen to that prior to our live session. Maybe just give an insight or two. Like what are some of the core lessons you've learned about successful selling, building strong relationships that maybe you wish you had learned earlier in your career?
I think the first part is probably just being yourself, right? Being true to yourself. Customers can tell when you're trying to be something you're not.
Yes.
And, kind of having a game plan, knowing the points you want to hit when you go in and see a customer. Don't go in there and not have a game plan, be all over the place. Be very direct with where you want the sale to go. Those are probably like the 2 key points that I learned pretty early on.
I don't think we've talked too much about it specifically in the program, but at every interaction, even if it's on the fly and you go to Starbucks and there's a potential prospect that's there, we always have to be thinking about this idea about SSO. What is a single sales objective? What are we trying to do here? And Matt, you've seen Glenn Ross, the greatest sales movies of all time. I'll say, all right, what's a single sales objective here? ABC, man, always be closing. Let's just go and crush it. Let's just dominate. I'm like, what? No, stop. No. If you're meeting them for the first time, what you want to do is get some information, see if there is a fit. And if there is, get that second meeting. You're not going to have single call closes. Every now and then, those are going to happen. So it's to your point, Matt. I'm like, having a plan. I think where a lot of these folks are that you're going to be interacting with, this idea of authenticity, we're giving them frameworks. They're kind of plugging and playing. And what we want to really go through and help them with is, let's take this framework that we know works generally. Let's match it up specifically to you as an individual so it is authentic, it is engaging, and hopefully you can have some fun. You're good at having fun inside of work and outside of work. How do you make sure people know that, hey, we can build a relationship, but also we can have fun doing it? Because for some folks who are starting out, they're still kind of the deer in headlights of like,
right,
I'm 100% commission.
Right.
This is a lot of pressure. It's a lot of stress. How do I do this? How do you make sure there's enough levity where you're like, hey, man, if we're not cool and relaxed, that is going to transfer over to our prospect?
I think the way I've always approached it is, I want to have fun in my job. I don't want to just be grinding all the time. Mm-hmm. Some of my best friends, you're a good friend. Some of my best friends are in my industry. Those relationships just grow throughout time. And then, that's where you go back to just being yourself, right? Mm-hmm. If you're going to have a genuine relationship with somebody and you're coming off trying to push something you're not, that's going to be pretty apparent somewhere down the road. Right. So I might push the limits sometimes with people just to see where their comfort zones are.
I believe I've been with you on a few of those. Yeah, sounds right.
But, I think we have genuine, long-lasting relationships. And you know what that gets you at the end? What you hope that gets you at the end is final look. right? When you're trying to close a contract and you have a competitor coming in,
Mm-hmm.
you have their relationship with whoever you're selling that they're going to come back to you and say, okay, you need to do this, this, and this to finish this deal out. And that's usually helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. So in one of our earlier training periods, we had Mike Barrett, who I had worked with at Pulte, who kind of grew up in the building side, now runs a very successful home building operation in Chicago. The goal there was to be able to ask him as an owner, maybe some questions that you wouldn't feel comfortable asking either customers of yours currently or prospects that you're pursuing, giving you a different perspective. The reason we have Matt coming in here is to, again, create a really safe environment where you can see someone who's been doing this for how many years have you been selling?
25.
25 years. Literally just walked in and said, hey, it's been a great week. Sold upwards of $225 million worth of business over the last couple months, but also one that was telling me like a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, was grinding on it, but also finding ways to have fun. I want you guys thinking about how can you have a successful career? How can you learn from someone like Matt? Ask him questions about how to do that. You can be really successful and you can achieve the dreams that you've got. This is someone who's doing it. He's living it now. And for an hour, it's kind of an ask him anything sort of thing. So if you have any situations or scenarios, you guys know how these go. It's going to be engaging. We're going to be calling on people. We want questions ahead of time. We'll give it to you, Matt, so you can review them, and we'll have some fun together. So that's all I got.
I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun.
Okay. You know what we have to do? By the way, if you haven't seen this, on the fly, Air instantly
It's
I got to put top 6 greatest sales movies of all time.
both of these deals that I just closed.
Yeah.
Air was, I think it was a big part of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you make us special? How are we your top guy?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing. So,
Okay. All right. So if you haven't seen Air, that's been out on Netflix or whatever. It might cost you $10. Go watch it. And I am a firm believer. I love movies. I think movies are fun. I also think there's a lot of lessons in there that not only can you enjoy a little bit of entertainment, you can also see some of these in action, and a lot of them, like, they're blown way out, maybe a little bit unrealistic. But again, I think thinking about how we can learn from something while having fun, and then certainly we're going to have fun with Matt. So come ready, ask him anything. It'll be a good time.